Hey guys, welcome back to yet another video. In this video, we are going to be ranking all 17 perks in Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Zombies. In this ranking, we are going to be looking at three main things when judging how good a perk really is. 1. How versatile is it? 2. How good is the perk in or out of your modifier? And 3. How useful is the perk in game? When looking at a perk, I feel as if you have to take all of these things into consideration. 1. A perk must be versatile, and by versatile, I mean is it good in single or multiplayer. And 2. You have to see how good or bad it is in or out of your modifier slot. And 3. A perk may sound good on paper, but turns out it's garbage in game. I'm looking at you, Death Perception. Which, speaking about Death Perception... So coming in dead last, we have Death Perception. I don't think this is much of a hot take because it is by far the worst perk. Death Perception essentially allows you to see the zombies through the walls. Now this sounds good, and it is somewhat good for newer players to the game, but if you're an experienced player, this perk is literally useless. Now if we quickly read the modifier on this perk, it says deal increased damage to special enemy weak points. This sounds excellent on paper, but when you're in the game, and this is from my personal experience, I don't really notice a difference. Not to mention, it only affects special enemies, not basic zombies, which are the majority of your issues when playing. So, congratulations, Death Perception, on being the worst perk. Coming in at number 16, we have Blaze Phase. Blaze Phase was the last perk to be added to Call of Duty Black Ops 4, and ironically enough, it is one of the worst. When Blaze Phase is active, you can crouch down for an extended period of time, then uncrouch to move at blazing speeds, and then create an explosion when stopped, destroying all of the zombies in your way. The modifier on Blaze Phase allows you at max charge to go to infinity and beyond. Until you run into a wall, that is. This ability that Blaze Phase gives you is actually pretty good, but what knocks it down is the recharge rate and actually how practical it is in game. If you want to survive against the zombies, your best bet is to train them, and having to crouch down and hope that you don't die is stupid to say the least. So, Blaze Phase is a fun perk to use, but not a practical one in the slightest. Coming in at number 15, we have Stone Cold Stronghold. Stone Cold is a pretty Giga Chad perk. When standing still, Stone Cold creates a blue ring around you. While in the blue ring, it allows you to get armor to better defend yourself against the zombies. But if you move out of that circle, that armor goes away. When Stone Cold is placed into the modifier, it allows you to get even more armor, and when the enemies are inside of the circle, you get a damage boost. This perk is best used for camping or holding out on certain areas on a map. Why is this so low, you may ask? Well, like I said with Blaze Phase, the best means of surviving against the zombies is training. While camping is a good option, you will soon get overrun by the zombies pretty quickly, so if you aren't camping, Stone Cold Stronghold isn't a go-to perk. Maybe you aren't such a Giga Chad perk after all, Stone Cold. Next up in the crappy perks section of this list, we have Mule Kick. Mule Kick is one of the OG perks in Call of Duty Zombies, but let's be honest, it has never been one of the better perks compared to the others. Mule Kick in this game allows you to have 3 weapons instead of the normal 2. I find its use case to be better in the older games, but that's besides the point. Guns in Black Ops 4 are good enough to where you don't need a third weapon, in my opinion. Not to mention, if you are down and you lose Mule Kick, you'll literally lose that third weapon. It doesn't matter how many points you have spent on Pack-a-Punch or anything else to make the weapon better, all of that is gone. When Mule Kick is in the modifier, it allows you to switch your weapons faster, and when you go down, you get to keep your third weapon upon rebuying Mule Kick. The modifier definitely helps the core issue with Mule Kick, but there are so many better options for perks in your modifier slot. Mule Kick has and will always be a top 5 worst perk. Rounding off our top 5 worst perks in this game, we have Ethereal Razor. This perk really makes you feel like you're Mikael Myers. Ethereal Razor allows you to deal increased melee weapon damage on all melee weapons, and being able to hit multiple zombies in a single swipe. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't really like knifing after round 1, and it's obviously more dangerous to be knifing instead of keeping your distance from the zombies on the higher rounds. When Ethereal Razor is placed in the modifier, your knife's lunge attacks will instantly kill basic zombies. Again, if you're in the later rounds, meleeing isn't the smartest thing to do when you have a whole horde of zombies chasing you. I will admit there are some great high round strategies tied to this perk, but then again, it's not very difficult to get to high rounds on this game, so its usefulness is pretty lacking. Alrighty, now we're getting into the good perks. Coming in at number 12, we have Zombshell. Zombshell is one of the most fascinating and underrated perks in this game. When a zombie is killed, there will be a chance of a white orb spawning. This white orb slows down all of the zombies to a halt while near it, but once it is gone, the perk goes on a cooldown. I find it's pretty useful for both training and camping. If you have a squad of 4 people and everyone is running this perk, its use case goes through the roof. When Zombshell is put into the modifier, when the white orb spawns, you can stand in it and all of the zombies will just straight up ignore you as long as you stay in the orb. You can honestly never go wrong with using Zombshell. Coming in at number 11, we have Electric Burst, which actually used to be called Electric Cherry in the older games, so if you ever hear me call it that, you know why. While reloading your weapon, Electric Burst activates and electricity surrounds you from the zombies that are getting a little too close for your liking. It's a pretty great defensive perk in all honesty. The modifier, however, is a little goofy. After reloading your weapon, it stores an electrical charge in your melee weapon for a brief time. Once knifed a zombie, it'll shock it to death. If you guys couldn't tell, I don't really like meleeing, especially on high rounds, so the modifier really isn't that great on this perk. However, one thing that is actually pretty cool on the modifier on this perk is while it is active, you will get an electricity ring around the perk, which actually looks pretty cool. Although this perk is pretty solid on its own, the modifier definitely brings it down a couple spots. Coming in at numero 10, we have Deadshot Dealer, also previously known in the older games as Deadshot Daiquiri. Deadshot is a pretty simple perk. When you ADS, it'll lock onto the zombies' heads. This is a good perk for beginners, Ian, because it may be harder for them to get those increased damage headshots. But for the older, more experienced players, this perk isn't all that useful. Deadshot also tightens up your crosshairs when hip firing, which is nice, but the reason why this perk is so high is because of the modifier. When you get 5 consecutive headshots, you deal much more damage, but there is a catch. If you don't kill the zombie successfully in the head, you lose that damage boost and will have to get 5 consecutive headshots all over again. I find this perk is best used for grinding headshot camos, and if you're a newer player, I'd highly suggest using this perk. If you aren't, then this may be one of the more useless perks to you. I was just joking, by the way, Ian. You can all cheer up Ian by going over to his channel and dropping a sub. Which, speaking about subscribing... Yeehaw, partners! Coming in at number 9, we have Bandelier Bandit. Bandelier is another one of those simple perks. All it does is give you more ammo for your weapons, but who doesn't like more ammo, am I right? What I find most useful about this perk is that on a select few of wonder weapons, Bandelier will give you more ammo in them, which is amazing, by the way. But, like most good perks on their own so far, the modifier brings it down. When Bandelier is in the modifier, if your weapon is running low on bullets in its mag and you switch your weapons, it'll slowly refill your weapon's ammunition out of the other mags. Now this sounds cool, but it's not like weapons take forever to reload like in the older games. Its usefulness in the modifier slot is laughably bad, so that's why I can't rank it any higher than 9th place. Coming in at number 8, we have Blood Wolf Bite, or Luna. Just for simplicity's sake, I'll be referring to this perk as Luna from here on out. When killing multiple zombies in quick succession, Luna will spawn out and help you fight off the undead. Luna stays around for roughly 30 seconds, then disappears, and the perk will go on a cooldown. This perk is really good for killing basic zombies, but it is really good against killing heavy zombies. I mean, just look at this boy fly! Can we get much higher? When the perk is placed in your modifier, when Luna kills a zombie, it has a chance to drop ammo, points, or even charge up your specialist weapon, which is very useful. Like Zombshell, if you have a team full of 4 people using this perk, it's really useful and not only helps you, but helps out your teammates as well. Luna is just an awesome perk. Coming in at number 7, we have PhD Slider. PhD Slider completely negates all explosive damage, which is super helpful. Especially because the best weapon in this game, the Helion, is an explosive weapon. Oh, and I guess the perk also allows you to slide into zombies, which creates an explosion that doesn't instantly kill them past round 15. Okay then. Well, when we put it in the modifier, it becomes a little bit more useful. You slide a bit more, you become immune to traps when sliding through them, and you deal increased explosion damage when sliding from heights. All of these sound really good, but in all actuality, they're pretty useless. The most important thing about this perk is the negation of explosive damage, but the other stuff is pretty, Just barely coming short from being in our top 5, we have Time Slip. Now, Time Slip has a lot of use cases. Your equipment recharges faster, the Mystery Box and Pack-a-Punch are both faster, and it greatly reduces trap and fast travel cooldowns. This on its own is a pretty good perk, but when it is put into the modifier slot, it gets even better. It makes your specialist weapon and elixirs recharge faster. Time Slip isn't a defensive perk, nor is it an offensive one. It's just a convenience perk. It essentially makes every core thing about zombies in this game go by much faster, which is always nice. Is this the best perk in the world? No, but it is sure helpful speeding things up. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are now approaching the top 5 best perks in Call of Duty Black Ops 4. And starting off our top 5, we have...
Tell me how the grass tastes, little man!
Coming in at number 5, we have Victorious Tortoise. Victorious is one of the best defensive perks in this game, but it isn't the best. We'll get to that one later on. When you pull out your shield, instead of the shield only protecting you from your front or the back, Victorious will protect you from all sides, essentially rendering you fully protected from all zombie attacks when you have the shield out. When the shield is destroyed, it'll create an explosion, pushing all of the basic zombies back to leave you space to run and grab another one. Victorious, when placed in the modifier, your shield bash will knock back all heavy and mini boss zombies, which is always helpful in sticky situations. Reason why this isn't the best defensive perk, or even the best perk in this game, is because this whole perk is tied to your shield. The shield obviously isn't the best means for killing the zombies, but this perk is great for getting you out of sticky situations.
Yo, revive me. I have the ray gun, man. I got the ray gun, dude. I need a revive here, dude.
Coming in at number 4, we have Quick Revive. This is another one of the OG perks that has stayed pretty good throughout the different games, but for some reason they decided to make it one of the best perks in this one. This perk allows you to revive your teammates a lot quicker, which is nice for online games, and it shortens your delays before regenerating your health, which is nice in solo and online. When we put Quick Revive in the modifier slot, it becomes even better though. When regenning your health, you will gain a speed boost for a brief time to get away from the zombies. Also, when you revive another player, it will give you and them full health and give you both a speed boost. This is a very useful perk in or out of your modifier and useful for solo or online games. Coming in at number 3, we have Stamina Up. Stamina Up, just like Quick Revive, is an OG perk that was pretty good in the older games but became godlike in this one. Stamina Up increases your sprint speed and duration. This is another one of those convenience perks as it allows you to travel the map faster and get away from the zombies faster. When the Stamina Up is in the modifier, you gain infinite sprint and you can fire your weapons while sprinting. Stamina Up is such a useful perk. I personally use it almost every time I play Black Ops 4. The only time I don't is when I camp, then Stamina Up is pretty useless. But the majority of the time, Stamina Up is an amazing perk to have, and I suggest using it every single game. Coming so very close to the number 1 spot, we have Dying Wish. Instead of going down by the zombies, Dying Wish will activate and will save you from going down, essentially giving you a second life. When Dying Wish is active, you will be invincible for up to 9 seconds, giving you plenty of time to get out of danger. But once Dying Wish is up, you will be left with 1 HP until your health is regenerated, and Dying Wish will then proceed to go on a very long cooldown. When placed in the modifier, however, once Dying Wish is over, you will be left with your normal amount of health depending on which difficulty you're playing, which is super handy. In every single game, I use Dying Wish without a shadow of a doubt. It is unbelievably useful, but there is one perk that ever so slightly edges it out. Alrighty guys, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Coming in at number 1, we have Secret Sauce. Nah, I'm just playing guys. But for real this time, at number 1, we have... Let's be honest for a second, I'm pretty sure we all saw this coming. Winter's Wail is the GOAT in Black Ops 4 Zombies. See, what makes it the best perk in this game is that it's the best defensive perk. When getting hit by any type of zombie, a frost explosion will freeze the enemies close by you. This ability only has 3 charges in it, but will refill over time. But what really makes this the best perk in Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is the ability when placed in the modifier. When hit by any type of zombies, a frost explosion will freeze all zombies that are essentially around you, and will leave a frost wind around you for a short period of time, leaving you fully protective while it is active. You also have 4 charges instead of 3, and will also recharge slightly faster so you don't really ever have to worry about running out of charges. Winter's Wail is super versatile, it is amazing in or out of the modifier, and is super useful in game. It checks off all 3 of my criteria when looking at perks, so in my opinion, this makes it the best perk in Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Zombies. With all of that now wrapped up, this is unfortunately going to be the end of the video. If you all enjoyed, I'd really appreciate it if you'd leave a like because I spent a crap ton of time getting all of the footage and reviewing these perks for the most definitive ranking. I'd also really appreciate it if you guys would subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I mean, we are literally sponsored by the subscribe button, so if that doesn't tell you that you should subscribe, then I don't know what will. We're currently at 18 subscribers and I'm shooting for 25 by the end of this year, so your support would mean the world. I'd also love to hear your guys' perk rankings down in the comments so we could compare how ours differ from each other's. Anyways, with all of that said, I hope you all have a wonderful day and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace out, everyone.